Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second round of the PSGL FP Challenge Cup. We're here in Baku in Azerbaijan for what will hopefully be a certainly interesting weekend for us. And as last time, I've got my co-commentator Jack joining me for today. Hello, Jack.
Hello, I'm very excited again to be here in PSGL as my dog starts barking, which is very convenient. Thank you, Fred. But Baku, a really difficult circuit, and we saw a lot of carnage last week in Belgium for the 5-lapper, and Baku I think is going to be the same. It's going to be very heated, very contested, quite hard to make overtakes in some place, but your main place is probably on that big main straight.
Yeah, one of the longest straights on the F1 calendar, and it features 20 corners, that famous street circuit, which has given us two great races within the last 4 years of real life F1. And as we are ready to go for the qualifying race, a 5-lapper as always, decided by the championship order. And I did a small mistake last week when I said usual PSGL point system for the feature race. That is the case, but the points are doubled, so the feature race weighs more than the qualifying race for every single position. So we've got double points up for grabs in the feature race, which is obviously a 50% race. And in that 5-lapper, you've already talked about it, we saw some carnage last week, and I think this one will be no difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Baku's really hard to go in for overtakes in some places, so I imagine some people might get forced into the wall as people try and be aggressive on that 5-lapper, but I think it's better to just kind of hang back and be passive. But I think we want to be prepared for the start of this race, because last week it was just lights out and we went. So
yeah, I mean, we can't really talk too much before the race, as we're starting in just more than 20 seconds, as drivers are still putting their setups on. There's no strategy in coming into play for this short 5-lap race. It is for the feature race where you have to start on the tyre you've raced on in the qualifying race. If you are inside the top 10, as we are only 3 seconds away from that first race here in Baku for the qualifying race, which will determine the order for that feature race, as we're coming up to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Both Mercedes having a great start at front, but the second Mercedes has been challenged coming into turn 1, the Ferrari of Biz. And then we've got Red Bull spun round by PMP Tax. Someone else has gone into the pit lane. There's a Toro Rosso smashing into the wall. That's Jonathan. He's far up in the championship, third I believe. And at the front they kept it quite calm, except from Tack, who's been struggling a little bit. Tipson is making up places, who missed last week's race. He's going side by side coming down into turn 3. He backs out though, but now the other Ferrari of Biz is trying to make a move around the outside. Let's see if he can make it stick. No, he can't. Tipson keeps the spot.
yeah, I've already seen a lot of crashes happen in the back. You had Cayman going around, you have Jonathan and Wool, who's already retired, 3 seconds time out for liquor blocks. Already, I think there's been a bit of wing damage for people as well. But they're all so close to go. Oh, the Alfa Romeos go. They're going 3 wide, coming up into the quarter for the castle section. It's around 2 Alfa Romeos. Oh, Bugatti backs out, which is probably a smart thing to do, except it looks like they might be trying to go side by side into the castle section. It's not what you want to do.
Oh, that's been a huge crash!
Oh, tacking the wall, castle section. I forgot to talk about that bit. That's going to be dangerous.
We've got 3 people out in the castle section.
Yeah, that place is very dangerous.
And the action is still going on as Nano-Bacon smashes into the wall. Bugatti retires.
Already 5 people out of this race. Is absolutely hectic. You have someone else in the wall. I'm not sure who that was. I think it might have been Cayman.
Septi is spun round. He was so far up. And we've got Tipson with huge front wing damage. We've got Willow Wolves being in 3rd place in his Haas. Then we've got both Mercedes leading, Malham and Greenwood. That's a great start for their weekend, as we've got still so much carnage going on. The bad thing is about 5-lap, I can't really put any data on, but now I can. Position changes, it's not really worth it. Everyone is on softs. 2 people in the pit so far. There's the Renault Cayman coming in as well. So CC Brain and Nano-Bacon, who've all got whole loads of front wing damage. But here they go side by side. Davey W with Skeven coming down into turn 2. Good move from Skeven, and he puts himself up into P9 for the moment. But Davey is trying to get back past him coming down into turn 3. Will he go for the inside move? No, he won't. He backs out and stays behind for now.
Absolute sanity so far. You got both of the Mercedes, the JP Greenwood and Milham currently in front. They just managed to avoid all the crashes and all the carnage, which is fantastic for them. But except you got Praga getting very close to Greeny all over his gearbox.
Greeny hasn't got a front
maybe
wing.
He'll go for it. Has he not? Okay, Praga's going to want to really clear him as quick as possible. Get very, very close to him. He's going to have to wait because this is not the place where you want to go for moves, as we saw only the lap before. He had 5 people in the pits after that lap 1, which just shows how dangerous Baku can be for your front wing.
Yeah, and Praga's getting really massively held up here by Greeny. That is not what he wants, as Greeny smashes into the wall, nearly takes up Praga with him, and Praga is not able to get past Greeny just yet. He cuts the corner completely, which is actually doable on this game for whatever reason, and he still is in front of Praga, but now he hasn't got a single chance without his front wing. But now Skeven is stuck behind Praga, has the chance to get a bit of a gap to the Williams driver. Behind him are a little touch between the Alfa and the Williams. I'm pretty sure the Alfa Romeo of Greeny will now dive into the pit lane, as Skeven is actually trying to pass him. No, Greeny stays out. He thinks he will lose too much and more when he pits than if he would just stay out.
Yeah, Greeny is really holding up a couple of drivers. Skeven's right behind them. He maybe could have been able to fight with Praga, except he got stuck behind Greeny just a little bit, which means Praga's managed to get that 1.5 second gap that he needed. Except Tipson is closing down on the far of
Oh, and we've got another front wing lost by Tipson. I'm sorry to interrupt you. And did you see that as well? How he just had no downfalls whatsoever. He just hit the wall, lost his front wing completely, and that will put him down some positions. He will definitely get caught by Joel right now, and Praga is not too far away either.
Yeah, well, I was on board with Tips. It didn't look like he hit the wall that hard, so I'm quite surprised about that. I guess he didn't have the wing before I started looking at him, but now this means Joel is probably going to get held up just a little bit behind Tipson, which means EVR SAMT can run away just a little bit. But it looks like Davies maybe closing up to Greeny a little bit.
And Greenwood is actually being caught up by Willow Wolves. Greenwood has got some front wing damage.
Joel's in the wall. He's just hit his front wing off. He went for a move on Tipson, broke late, went wide and just hit the wall, knocked off a bit of his wing, which is going to hurt him massively. So we're going to see a battle between Tipson and Joel Manu coming down this main straight. It's probably going to be Tipson for the take if he can make it through this low S section. Well, just about. Contact. There goes Praga.
Great move by Praga. And look at Willow Wolves. He's been going past Greenwood in the meantime. Moves himself up into P2. That's a great starting position for the feature race coming up after this one. And Tipson gets past Joel. Joel right now is really close to Praga, but obviously he can't make a move. Joel actually decides to pit though. And Greeny is now passing him, even though he hasn't got front wing. I'm pretty sure Greeny will actually stay inside the top 10 with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if we've got anyone without wing damage, except I just saw someone go side by side. I'm not sure who it was.
That's Skeven and Tipson.
Yeah, he's just gone past him easily. Oh, Tipson! A bit late on the brakes. He's using that runoff area nicely. Absolutely. Davey goes past him. Greeny goes past him. Lickle won't go past him. He's too far away.
Oh, we've got a crash in the background, I think. Yes, that is a Renault of Cayman and CC Braid. Both have crashed. And that's not going to help him in the qualifying race right here, will it? So they are going to be starting far down the grid, as some of the championship rivals, or some of CC Brain's championship rivals, I should rather say, his Williams teammate. They're not actually teammates, I think. But and Tipson has retired.
Oh no!
Into Castle
actually claims another one.
And what I wanted to say is that Skeven is not only catching up in terms of points in this qualifying race, but he's also got a much better starting position than CC Brain, who will start probably a maximum of P14 right now, maximum of P12 right now probably. But let's see, he might get still overtaken by New Zealand Cam, who has got his whole front wing.
I'm not bacon, just pushing Joe around the track right now. I don't think there's anyone without wing damage other than like the front 3 or 4.
No, I think New Zealand Cam has got all of his front wing.
Oh yeah, he must have pitted.
Oh yeah, he definitely has, but that doesn't mean much. I mean, Cayman and CC Brain came to blows afterwards, after their pit stop. As we're going on to this final lap, Milham seems to have it in the bag, and Nano Bacon is trying to challenge Joel for that one single point.
Absolutely, he's going to go for it around the outside, coming into turn 2. Nano Bacon round the outside. Joe doesn't give him much room. Looks like Nano Bacon in the wall. Oh no, Joe just left him no room there. It looked like he just couldn't turn in anymore, despite having a full front wing. Same with Nano Bacon from the looks of it for me, but just kind of knocked him into wall.
Oh, that's Sam.
He's crashed.
Castle. Oh, I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
accidentally opened that the profile of him. That's not what I wanted to do. But yeah, he just threw away a very good starting position for next race. And that promotes pretty much everyone behind him into a better position.
He's right behind Greeny Liquid Blocks. All over the back of him, but already unlike for EVR Santi. Oh, Greeny! Go wide into the wall to make a little bit of contact. Liquid Blocks hits his side punch just a little bit. Except he's managed to make that corner nicely. Greeny, what can he do to try and counter that from Liquid Blocks? I believe Liquid Blocks has got a penalty. Good win from Malham though. Saved out of all the trouble and won this race quite comfortably.
Yeah, great starting position for him in the Mercedes as well. And he will take 10 points for this one. He did set the fastest lap on the last lap, but he'll get no points for that in the qualifying race. Praga only just missed out on Greenwood's P3. Davey comes home in 6th. Lico, let's see. I don't think he can keep the spot in front of Greeny. Yes, he can. Seems like both have got a penalty in the end. Joel is going to finish in 9th place. And Nano Bacon will take the last point of this qualifying race. And yeah, Cayman, New Zealand Cam and CC Brain, I think, just did some damage limitation in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what it's going to be like for the feature race also, just trying to keep it out of the wall and keeping it calm. But yeah, we've had, how many is that, 6 or 7 retirements? Yeah, 7 retirements, all from just 5 laps, so I think Castle Section took 4 of those 7, so yeah, that's going to be a really, really big talking point of the feature race, I imagine.
Yeah, but I think they will definitely take it a lot more cautiously. We talked about this last week. Many people will risk it in the qualifying race for a good starting position and just send it. But yeah, there's those 5-lap races before. Those 5-lap qualifying races are almost like an open lobby, to be fair. Everyone's losing front wing, left, right and centre. We've got a double Mercedes podium in this qualifying race, which puts them in a great position for the feature race.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good from them. As long as they can keep people behind them, then maybe they're going to be able to do really well in this race, especially as their Mercedes the best car. But Willow Wolves, really good race from him as well on that Haas. So that'll be really good for his championship standings if he can stay there in the future race.
Yeah, I mean the Haas downforce isn't quite the best. On this game it's actually quite solid, but from 10th on the grid he finishes 2nd. So really good job Skeven as well in his Williams from 19th up to 5th, and Davey W from 20th up to 19th. So yeah, really good job from him.
Absolutely, Baku, really hard track. If you keep out the wall, I think you'll do well. Sorry, I've seen quite a few crashes in 50% races as well from just driver error around this track, so I think you have to keep it calm and keep it consistent. It's the same with every street track, really.
And Baku probably, even though it's not the qualifying race anymore and it's more of a long-term stint for those drivers now, it's still going to throw up a lot of chaos, I think, because it just is Baku, one of the most tricky street circuits in the calendar. So yeah, I'm expecting quite a few safety cars, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety car will happen at some point. We don't know how many or when they will happen, but I can almost guarantee they will. So if there's rain as well, like there was in Belgium, I do believe, then that's going to throw up even more chaos and carnage.
Yeah, I mean, we saw enough already, so I definitely hope that it's not going to be anywhere near as much carnage as we did see right now. But let's be real. There will probably be quite a lot.
Yeah, probably.
But
Just
it really depends on the start. I mean, the drivers need to be just a bit more careful. They'll have to think about the long game in this race. You can't win a race on lap one, but you can lose it, and that's what the drivers need to think about. Even though if they actually make a mistake, lose front wing or something, have to pit, there will most likely be a safety car that will save them at some point.
yeah, I think so. I think that the drivers need to plan for a safety car. Just when will the safety car happen? Within the first 3 laps, you're going to want to start on softs. If you think it will come a little later in the race, maybe start on the mediums. So, yeah, the top 10 still have to stay on the softs as it would be a normal qualifying. So, they're going to have to hope there's a safety car within maybe the first 5 laps. Is that right on this track? Medium
I'm
hards is
not
normal,
really
right?
sure. I'm actually not really sure what the actual strategy is. It's definitely going to be interesting on the next few tracks. I think we've got Canada on the calendar. That rhyme was not intentional. I think Canada is on there, which obviously could throw up some different strategies as well. You've got you can make the two-stop work there, but you could also try the one-stop. So people outside, yeah, Canada is actually on the next track, so you could also try and yeah, make the one-stop work if you start outside the top 10 for next week. But we'll have to wait and see how it is for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main strategy we're going to see is, I think, from memory, I haven't driven back in a very, very long time. The normal strategy is medium hards or soft hards, I think. I can't remember, don't take my word for it, but I imagine we're going to see people outside the top 10 starting on the mediums, and of course people in the top 10 will be starting on the softs, so we'll have to see what they decide.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's on dynamic as well, so that could throw up some things. And I think if there's actually rain, we'll see even more carnage than before. Because in the rain, you obviously have to get used to everything and the braking points, and you don't have anywhere near as much grip as you do in the dry conditions. But also on worn tires, it could be like it could almost be like you're driving in the rain. I mean, when you've got tires that are around 70% or something, they are absolutely dead. And if it's really a stretch going from soft to hards, then we could see something like that.
Yeah, sure. I think that, you know, the flat out kind of squiggly S section leading up to the big long main straight. If your tyres are worn through there, you're going to have to like lift off just a little bit, because the car can kind of slip away from you through there. Maybe get a little bit of oversteer. If that happens, you're probably going into the wall, I imagine. So yeah, you kind of have to be really careful about your tyre wear and make sure that you don't over push the car. Keep it within its limits.
Absolutely. I'm not sure. Have we seen a crash through that little S section before the long straight? Have we seen a crash in real life there?
I'm not sure. We might have done. I can't remember.
I can't think of one though. But
Baku hasn't been around that long, so only was it 4 or 5 races that it's been around since 2016. So
and F2's
I'm not
racing
sure.
as well, so maybe there was something like that. But right now I can't remember it, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we in the meantime, while the drivers are readying up for the feature eight, I think we can talk about some motorsport related stuff that lately happened, especially in the world of sim racing. Um, and yeah, even though we're not really sim racing because it's the Codemasters game, still, I think most of the people actually heard about that Daniel Up thing, who's been kicked out of his real life Formula E seat at Audi for letting a sim racer do his virtual E pre-race. And yeah, I think it's quite shocking to see how far sim racing can actually go. I mean, just compare Formula E with Formula One. In Formula One, everyone's crashing on purpose, having great banter, and in Formula E, someone's being kicked for letting someone else drive.
Yeah, I think personally it's absolutely ridiculous. I know that sponsors and stuff are involved, but like, just getting someone else to drive for you, I think is just stupid. I mean, it's like a demolition derby anyway. If you watch it, it's the same with the F1 virtual races. That's why I don't watch them, 'cause just people are crashing all the time. People sending it around Monaco from 600 meters back. I think it's ridiculous. But Danny Rapp being kicked out of his seat just for having someone else drive for him, I think that's a bit far, really, because I wouldn't want to drive in it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to definitely see the difference between a virtual race, which is supposed to just create some joy for the viewers and just to be a bit of fun and banter, and real life. I mean, some driving behaviors we've seen generally in sim racing will probably result in a, oh, and Greenwood has left, will probably result in a license that is gone for a driver, but it obviously isn't, because it's a virtual race. You can't take it too seriously, and we saw Antonio Felix Acosta as well just leaving Twitch because of that, because he didn't want to get himself in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like to have fun when I sim races. Personally, I like to have a laugh. I like to have fun. I do this for enjoyment. I can take it seriously if I want to, but you know, just because I play it for fun or whatever and I don't take it that seriously doesn't mean I should lose all hope of having a seat in real life or something. Imagine if I was a real driver. Just because I'm having fun and I'm having a good time on the game doesn't mean that I'm just going to get booted out of, like,
a junior
my
program
racing team. Exactly. Like, imagine a footballer playing FIFA and they lose 6-0 to QPR when they're Barcelona. They're not going to get kicked out of their football team for that, are they? So why kick someone out for just having someone race for you or having fun? And I think it's become a bit over the top, absolute lunacy.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you there. And right now, as the drivers are about to line up on the grid, we've got P3 Greenwood. Like I mentioned, he's lagged out of the session, which is shame. I'm not sure if he's allowed to rejoin. If not, then
so, no.
that's really disappointed. It is still the formation lap, but the glitch might already be active. But we've got actually two people inside the top 10 starting on mediums. I didn't realize there were on mediums in the actual qualifying race, which would be Lickle and Joel. And outside the top 10, everyone is starting from on mediums, except from the last three guys. PMP Tack, QPR Beast, and Jonathan are all starting on the hards, as I would very much appreciate it if you could take a look at the back of the grid, as we're about to have lights out for this race. We're still waiting on the lights to come up now, and pretty sure they will in a short amount of time. Yes, here they are. So we're up to 4 red lights, 5 red lights for the second round of the FP Challenge Cup. And it's lights out, and away we go. Bugatti's already jumped the start. He's going to drive through penalty. Willa Wolves is challenging the Mercedes coming down into turn 1, and he's taken the lead, but the Mercedes is hanging it around the outside. Praga takes advantage of that. Takes P2 in the background. We've got a side-by-side moment. Oh, they got 3 wide into turn 2. That's not going to go well, but that was a ghost car involved, so Lincoln puts himself up into P5 for the moment. He's gone side-by-side with his teammate Green. He's on the outside for the next corner. He's on the slower compound. Let's see how that goes. He backs out and lets his teammate go through, but in the background we've got Cayman and Davey W going side-by-side. Cayman also on the medium compound, and it seems like it has been quite a clean start so far.
Yeah, I've already seen some damage in the back. It wasn't so clean in the back. Had a bit of wheel banging and bits of damage happening in the back as Joe Manu almost goes off the track. He overshot just a little bit as Evio Santi takes 2 cars at once. I think New Zealand Cam has got wing damage, or he's just completely backing out. But the yellow flag in sector 2. What's that for? I can't see it.
Hopefully not Castle. Oh no, it's not Castle. Everyone's
all clean through there.
Castle unscathed, actually.
Really good to see that, but New Zealand Cam is struggling. I think he's got wing damage. Already a couple of people have wing damage, which is not what we want to see, as Evio Santi just gets past JB Greenwood. I got excited there for a minute, but Praga has managed to make up a few positions and get people on by 1.2 seconds, which is going to be fantastic for him.
Yeah, sadly I missed the move he made on Willow Wolves. At some point on the track he had to get past the house, and he did, and he's already formed a gap. So if there's nothing stopping him and he keeps his pace like that, he's going to win this race. Joe Manu is really struggling and hits the wall, and there's a massive crash with Biz as well. Both are still in the race somehow. And no, he didn't ghost.
New Zealand Cam just ran straight into Biz. How are we still driving in a straight
line?
Got
a B, a C.
I have no idea. That was a huge crash. He just hit him at like 180 miles an hour, which is something in kilometers an hour. That was massive. I'm surprised he's still driving, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's what I absolutely hate about ghosting, because it's not reliable at all. I mean, he was stood still on the track. He was blocking basically the entire racing line, but the game still didn't decide to ghost him. Business left the session after he retired in rage, probably. I can definitely understand that. But yeah,
No, he didn't retire in
fair
rage.
play to Codemasters. No, he left in rage after his retirement.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you said he retired in rage.
And Mileham has gone past Willow Wolves. And now he's they're switching positions.
I think maybe Mileham broke a bit earlier than Willow Wolves was expecting. Willow Wolves had to kind of try and avoid, but we're racing again. Green flags. Here we go again.
And we've already got a move. Yeah, Greenwood is ghosted. I'm sorry. As Jonathan nearly hits the wall on his hard compound of tyres. Nano Bacon is looking very feisty in his Red Bull at the moment in P8. He's right behind Davey, who's had a great starting position but dropped down a little bit, I think. I'm not actually sure. Yes, he's dropped down one position. I actually thought he started in P5, but he did start in P6. Cayman has had a great start as well. He's moved up quite a few spots. Yeah, 5 positions. He started outside the top 10.
Yeah, really good from him. So, Nano Bacon in the section of Davey coming down the main straight. That's going to be one of the main overtaking opportunities. This DRS is now enabled.
Look at the Honda engine. It's not really helping him, is it? But maybe he goes for a move down the inside into turn 1. Yes, he does. Red Bull car, maybe a Red Bull Danny Ricciardo move from last year, or 2018 actually. And yes, he does. Up into P7 he goes.
Good move from Nano Bacon. The Honda engine just isn't that powerful, except Davey has got DRS on him with a much more powerful engine. Nano Bacon, oh, it looks like he's coming the inside, except he moved to the middle. Davey goes down the inside of Nano Bacon, coming into turn 3, a little bit of wheel touching, but they're going to okay. Great move from Davey, except his teammate of Tibson, or Race Boy teammate of Tibson. Oh, bad traction for Nano Bacon. Davies gets back in front of him. Tibson is all over the back of Nano Bacon. He goes up the inside. Nano Bacon left a little bit of room. Davies stays in front for now, except he locked up. He's not having fun. But they all have to go single file now as they come up towards the castle section.
Yeah, you can definitely see that Nano Bacon has got that advantage in the middle sector, which is a lot more technical. But on that long straight, he has just got no chance against the Mercedes engine off the racing point in front of him. So it's going to be really difficult for him to overtake. It was really difficult on the lap before without that DRS. Now it's enabled, so now he might have a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. The DRS, the slipstream on this track is really, really strong. So Willow Wolves, I imagine, may be overtaken by Skeven or Liquid Blocks at some point during the straight. Even though he has got the Ferrari engine, it's much more powerful than all the other engines from my knowledge on this game. There goes Liquid Blocks, already gone around the outside of Skevens Williams in the S section. Good move from him, except he's a little bit too far away from Willow Wolves to be able to make that move. Praga still has a 2.2 second gap in front, which is really good for him, meaning that he's got no one's slipstream or DRS to worry about, which is fantastic for him as he can just kind of sit in front and keep it all calm and relaxed.
Oh, QPR Beast and Sam are fighting it away, and QPR Beast makes the move stick. And actually Davey was not overtaken by the Red Bull of Nano Bacon. Like I said, he's really struggling with that straight line speed of the Honda engine, which is very, very low on this game, and it's not really accurate to real life in my opinion. But let's see, Tibson thought about a move into turn 4, but he backed out.
Yeah, we can see the Honda engine in real life was actually really powerful compared to we saw it in Brazil when Gasly got his podium, winning a drag race against Lewis Hamilton, which kind of proved the Honda engine can function. But Liquid Block's just pushing Willow Wolves through the castle section. He's probably going to wait until the main straight to get that DRS and blow past him on the straight. Yeah. Oh, hang on, someone's in the wall. Davey, he's just spun in the castle section just a little bit. Makes contact with Sam T. He's also about 4 positions from that. So see, just losing a little bit of traction in the castle section can cost you so much time in positions.
And he lost front wing.
Oh, did he? I thought he avoided the wall.
Right end plate is gone for him. That won't help. It's race. He locks up. Nearly hits the wall. He keeps it on track. Sam T and QPR Beast are going side by side again, and Sam has got him back.
Yeah, wing damage is not going. Sorry?
And I'm sorry, but I just realised how close Tipson is now, and he will go up into P7 probably, as Blocks has got past Willow Wolves easily on the straight. Let's see, where is Cayman? Cayman has passed Skeeven as well, as they're going side by side coming down into turn 1. That's a late lunge from Skeeven. He doesn't leave much space to Cayman. Lets him back through. That's very fair of the Williams driver.
Yeah, Willow Wolves is going to want to try and get back in front of Liquid Blocks coming down the second straight, except Liquid Blocks just is pulling away from that Haas pretty easily, even though Willow Wolves has the DRS slipstream on him. As we have our first pit stop of Davey after he got that wing damage. Goes on
we actually already had quite a lot with in terms of front wing damage. I think from Joe onwards, everyone is pitted behind him as they are going side by side. Now that's Greenwood yet again. I'm getting bamboozled by him, even though he's not even in the race.
I keep getting excited over it, but I'm always disappointed. Ooh,
But,
a bit of a lock-up from Skeeven.
Willow Wolves is still able to stay within that 1 second gap to Lickle at the moment, and I just jinxed it, and he's out of that 1 second window. So Cayman has now got the chance to get past him. But I gotta say, very good sportsmanship from Skeeven, who pushed Cayman out wide into turn 1, and he just slammed on the brakes, and that Cayman back through.
Yeah, it's really good to see from Skeeven. So even though it probably could help him in the championship in the future, at least he's keeping the sportsmanship behaviour, letting it back through after a mistake from himself. It's really good to see him. We need to see more of that, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at Cayman right now. He is right on the rear of Willow Wolves, who isn't really defending. I think he's going to dive into the pit lane. He is on the inside quite far. No, he's not. He's trying to get the slipstream. He's only got 5% of VRS left. And Skeeven is the first driver on a scheduled pit stop, it looks like. And he's pitting. Let's see onto which tyre he will go. And my guess will be it's going to be the hard compound.
Yeah, I imagine so too. I know they look like mediums. He's got on the mediums.
Add a new front wing.
Yeah, that's going to be a long way to stretch the mediums from my memory. So it's interesting to see from Skeeven and see what he can do on those mediums. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Maybe he's gone for a 2-stop.
Yeah, he's probably gambling on a safety car, to be honest. I mean, we did say it's most likely going to come, but the game is pretty unreliable with safety cars, to be honest. In some races there are 5, and in the other race there's just no safety car, maybe 1 or 2 virtual ones, but no safety car for the biggest crash you've ever seen. So you can't really rely on that all too much, but he is gambling on a safety car at some point in this race.
Yeah, the safety car I still think will come. It didn't come in the first 5-6 laps, so we're going to have to wait and see if it comes at all in this race. It might not. I mean, we had a huge crash of Biz and, who was it? New Zealand Cam. They had a massive crash, but no safety car for that. Only a VSC, so we're going to have to wait and see for the later stages of this race, as Liquid Blocks is quite close to Malham. Yeah, he's really close. I think he's going to be able to get past on this straight with his DRS and slipstream. He is on the medium tyres though, so he's going to be in the lead of this race at some point, provided he doesn't get any damage. Malham tried to squeeze him just a little bit, except Liquid Blocks is just going to breeze past him. That Ferrari engine is doing him wonders.
Yeah, but
PPR beating Nano Bacon is side by side. I thought I was in the S
and
section.
Lickle just outbraked himself, and Malham got full wing damage. Lickle outbraked himself, slowed down, lost the rear end, and Malham just went into the back of that Alfa Romeo car and has now lost a whole chunk of his front wing. So that's going to really not help his race. But Jack, I actually think that the Ferrari engine isn't the most powerful one on this game. I think it's still the Mercedes.
Really? Oh, I had no idea. I just always assumed that Ferrari is the best engine.
I think it's actually Mercedes, even though it was pretty clear that it was the Ferrari engine in real life. PMP Tack makes his second stop of the day. That's not what he wants.
Onto the softs.
Oh,
okay.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe he'll go for soft mediums now. I mean, we are on lap 7. And yeah, maybe that will work, but we'll have to wait and see. No soft runners make their scheduled pit stop except from Skeeven, but he's trying something different. So I guess Praga was still pulling away massively, which is a great sign from him today. He just shows how much pace he's got in that Toro Rosso, and he's putting away right now, and he hasn't made any signs of pitting anytime soon. But Lickle did catch a bit of time in the last sector I saw.
Yeah, I think that the mediums are going to start becoming a little bit quicker than those softs around this point, so I think we're going to see the soft runners pulling into the pits in the next couple of laps. As here comes Cayman all over Moham. Moham went a little bit wide through the S section, had to let Cayman just go up his inside. So currently we've got Liquid Blocks and Cayman who are going to be
Malham in the
first
pits,
and
and
second at some
Tipson
point.
has gone
Ooh.
past Willowolves, who
We've
also
got
pits.
Willowolves in the pits. Okay, so we've got our soft runners starting to pit now. Praga goes a little bit longer, except he is being caught bit by Liquid Blocks. He's gained a second already. It's time for Praga to pit. Liquid Blocks is coming into his own. He's catching a lot on those medium tyres.
Oh, and Nano Bacon has also gone onto the mediums. Very interesting.
Okay.
So we've got the
Interesting.
second driver now pitting onto a different tyre compound than we expected. Pretty sure he won't be able to finish on this compound.
Maybe he could stretch it. Maybe he's got good tyre wear. Maybe he's trying to pull off a two-stop. But we've got the other two people who went into the pits going onto the hard tyres. So yeah, the different strategies are starting to become shown in this race.
And I just realised that QPR Beast on this hard compound has got front wing damage. So that won't help his long-term pace towards the end of his stint, especially when those hard tyres get worn. They don't feel great generally, as he nearly clips the wall on the outside through the castle section.
Yeah, the castle section is like threading a needle. Very precise, very thin. Just about squeezing through. Really getting close to the walls. I find it really satisfying when you manage to get that castle section just right. When he grazed the walls, he just did more than graze the wall there. He gave it a little bang.
And PMP Tack has made his third pit stop of the day. It's not really gone well for him, is it? Yes, he did. And look at the gap between Lico and Praga. Let's see, Praga does pit. He lost a whole lot of time, around 2 seconds on the last lap. So you could definitely see that those softs were absolutely dead. And it's not going to be interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to Malham and Skeevan.
Goes onto the hard, so I was expecting to go into mediums after he stretched the softs longer than anyone else did. I was expecting him to go for the mediums. So he's gone for the hard, so maybe he should have pit earlier because the gap was at 5 seconds between him and Liquid Blocks. And then it went down to about 1.6, so he's got a lot of work to do. He wants to build that gap back up. So he needs to start lapping quicker than Liquid Blocks before Liquid goes in for his stop. Nano Bacon is all over the back of Malham. Look at that. Really close. He wants to just close a little bit, but Malham has that superior straight line speed. Despite Nano's slipstream and DRS in his best efforts, he just cannot get close enough to Malham to make that move.
Yeah, it's like I talked about this so many times, but I can't hold it to just mention it over and over again. That Honda engine is so underrated on this game. I mean, you barely can overtake.
Yeah, it's just really difficult for them. You can see that people in Torosos and the Red Bulls are just not having a good time. Same with the Renault engine, I think. That's not very powerful. The Ferrari engines and the Mercedes engines really just tower above the rest of them. Which is really sad.
Yeah, it is definitely sad. I mean, you can definitely see that Nano Bacon's got a lot more pace on this track than the drive in front. Also because of the tyre difference. He's got mediums and he hits Malham in front and loses front wing. So that is probably going to be this fight over for now.
Yeah, I think Malham just broke a little bit earlier than Nano was expecting.
Oh, and Wolves dives it down the inside through the last braking zone. And they're going side by side through here. Will they? No, they don't. QPR Beast, like I said, has got front wing damage. I don't know if it's gone even worse. Looks like it has, actually. Yes, it has.
I think Willow wanted the DRS. Wait, which he didn't get, which is interesting.
Yeah,
QPR
dives into the pits. Yeah, I think his front wing damage got worse and he couldn't handle it anymore. It was that bad.
Oh, it's his only lap on the hard, so...
Oh yeah,
you're right. The wall some other time, so... That's interesting. He goes to the mediums, take them 16 laps. Probably manageable, so... That's really sad for QPR Beast, but pits onto the mediums. Same with his teammate, who He's double stacking, is he? Yeah, he double stacked. New Zealand Cam's bad race gets worse. So that's really sad for him. We've got quite a lot of gaps forming now. Not many battles going out on track. As people get wing damage and the gaps start to widen.
Yeah, Sam is not that far away from CC Brain at the moment though. He hasn't got any front wing damage, but neither has CC Brain, I think. If I'm not mistaken, no, he has got his full front wing, which is very rare on this track, on this game. And this is actually the only more or less battle we've got, the closest drivers to be inside each other's DRS window. But right now, Lico is controlling that race. It will be interesting to see where Praga will come out though. Right now, the gap between him and Lico is 17 seconds. And Sam is the first of the medium runners to actually make their first scheduled pit stop, I think.
Also, Big C asked if we could do gap to leader, so Sam goes for the hards. So
I only just showed it a few seconds ago, but then I switched back because I wanted to look at the gap between Prague and Lico. Like I said, 17.5 seconds, and that will mean that Lico will come out behind Praga, and they're going to be on the same compound. But we'll have to remember Praga's tyres will be a lot older than Lico's if Lico stays out a bit longer than that.
Absolutely, EBR Santi came out just behind Nano Bacon. Nano Bacon is on 3-lap old medium, so he's probably going to be quicker for now. So EBR Santi is going to want to wait a little while longer into this race, so he's going to be able to make the move later on. His tyres won't be as quick right now, but later in the race when Nano Bacon's mediums start to get a little bit more worn, the pace will start to even out.
And remember, Nano Bacon has lost his front right end plate, so that will cost him a bit of time to the driver behind, which is Sam, and Sam is definitely willing to pass Nano Bacon in front as soon as he can, because that dirty air doesn't really feel good through the middle sector, even though it's not really powerful on this game and nowhere near realistic, but still it is there, but it's just not costing you as much time as in real life. And Lico pits.
Oh,
so
does Cayman.
Yes, so he will have 3-lap fresher tyres than Praga, I reckon. Let's see where Praga comes out. He will definitely regain the lead. Let's see how big the gap is between those two drivers. And Lico gets jumped by Cayman.
Really good for Cayman there. Ooh, a little bit of traction.
Oh, and Bugatti is in front of Lico as well. That's gone awfully wrong, and we've got a VSC that's come out at the worst time possible for Lico. He would have wanted that like 20 seconds earlier, then he wouldn't have lost anywhere near as much time as he did now.
Absolutely, that's been really lucky for Bugatti. He's stuck behind his Renault teammate, except he is teammates with Lico, don't forget. So will we see team orders? I imagine they're in a party together. So maybe, just maybe, Bugatti will let Lico through, but I'm not too sure, as he's going to be in a fight with his teammate once we go to green flags again. He's very close to Cayman, who jumped him in the pits. Oh, sorry, who jumped Lico in the pits, and has got in between. Bugatti got in between Lico and Cayman, splitting up their fight, which is going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Ooh, as there's been contact between the two Renaults, I think.
Yeah, I just saw that little ding between them. I'm not sure why I decided to use that word.
An awful restart. Look at that. Look at how close Bugatti and Lico are right now. They're going to be right upon his rear wing as soon as they hit the main straight.
Really close together. Lico and Bugatti are just looking at some of the trackside cameras, and Lico looked like he was just pushing Bugatti around. Not much space between the two wings at all. Except Cayman had a bad restart, except he's gained just a little bit on Bugatti. They're still going to get DRS, so Lico will be able to make the move on Bugatti. That Ferrari engine is much better than the Renault. You can see that. He's going to go for the move on Bugatti. Pulls over to the inside. He's not quite that close. Bugatti still has switching to his teammate. He goes for it down the inside. Lico blocks. Goes down the inside of Bugatti. They still go side by side. Bugatti holds on around the outside. Coming into turn 2. Lico blocks still on the inside. Gives him... Okay, Bugatti backed out which is probably a sensible option, except he now has DRS on Lickle and Slipstream, except Lickle has the same on his Renault teammate in front of him.
And I think Tipson has definitely caught some solid amount of time by staying up one lap longer than Lickle, because he wasn't stuck anywhere behind. But Sam and Marlam are going for it, and now Sam moves himself up into P8, and Nano Bacon is pitted. That is why he was right behind the Mercedes.
That would make sense, but that's still got a three-way train, which is probably gonna, the real fight is gonna resume when they reach the big main straight. I've got a rev glitch with Bugatti, which is really annoying, so now I'm sad about that. But, the Alfa Romeo splitting up two Renaults.
But yeah,
sorry.
Just look at Tipson. I'm sorry. He is only around 1.7 seconds behind Lickle, and like I said, by staying up one lap longer, he gained so much time. I think Lickle had a very, very comfortable gap before the pit stops.
Yeah, so you know, that's just the unpredictability of Baku. We've had two VSCs so far, which Tipson managed to capitalise from. He's just about outside that DRS right now. He's going to want to close up, except I think we're going to see Lickle Blocks making a move on Cayman coming down this main straight. Look at the power of that engine. He got past Bugatti the lap before. He's going to get past Cayman now. Look at him go. Bugatti might have a go as well, because he's got the DRS to Slipstream, gone 210 miles an hour. He pulls up to the inside. He's going to go up the inside into turn one. Bugatti on the other Renault, a little bit of contact. Cayman drops down to P4. Tipson is now within that DRS range. Here he comes. He's now going to try and hunt down the two runners ahead of him. Lickle Blocks moves himself on to second, and he's got 6 seconds to try and catch the private ahead of him, with only 12 laps remaining around Baku.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely not what Cayman wants to see right now. Just look at that. He's on 2 lap fresh hards, as Bugatti is on 10 lap older hards. So he still has to make yet another pit stop. And Cayman is just stuck behind him now. And Tipson is right upon his rear wing as well, who is obviously very, very quick on that main straight.
Yeah, do you think that Bugatti will pit again, or is he going to try and stretch those hards as far as he possibly can and take them 24 laps and take them to the end?
I think that's near impossible. I'm not 100% sure about Taiwan and Baku, but I still think that is near impossible. I think one of the few tracks you can do it on is actually Russia. I think the hards last ages in there. And so do the hards in Japan, I think. But through here in Baku, I'm not sure.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what he does, except he's going to have DRS to Slipstream on Lickle Blocks in front of him. Will he be able to make moves to the yellow flag? The second one, that's the Rebel off. That's Tack, he's just off in Narnia.
That's a really safety car, but here comes Bugatti around the outside of Lickle. The two teammates are going for it, and Bugatti moves himself back up into P2.
Sorry,
and
I missed
Tipson
it, but Tipson has made it past Cayman.
Yeah. So Tipson has took advantage of that VSC and the battle between those guys in front.
Here comes Lickle though. He's all over the back of Bugatti. He's just going to wait for it. He had the DRS, he had the Slipstream, except he didn't. He decided not to launch out the inside, which is probably quite smart. Tipson now has 4 attempts to make up to be able to get within this fight for the podium positions. So he's already gaining a little bit. If those two carry on fighting, I think Tipson could be looking at a podium here. Cayman is going to try and do his best to stick with him. So we could be seeing a 4-car battle for the podium paying positions.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Prague is just running away with it. I mean, 6 lap old hards, he's easily going to take them to the end. And 4.6 seconds ahead. And I don't think that gap really came down within the last couple of laps. The next car behind him is a lapped car. So he's got a comfortable position at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as he keeps it calm and consistent, which is what he's doing right now. He's saved a solid amount of ERS, currently at 40-ish%. So not too bad from him, and as long as they carry on battling behind him, he should be okay. He doesn't have to worry too much, but if they do start catching up quite rapidly, then he's going to want to start panicking and get a shift on.
Yeah, he's losing a bit on the straights, which is pretty obvious with the Honda engine that we mentioned so many times already. But Cayman is also struggling with his Renault with the Renault engine behind his back to catch up to the Mercedes, or to the Mercedes one of Tipson, as Skeven makes his second pit stop of this race.
Yeah, Skeven comes in after 10 laps on the medium, so he's going to go for another medium. Yeah, he's gone for another medium set of tyres. So he's going to go to the end on those tyres. He's still just about the points. He has a big comfortable gap to Joel behind him, so good for him, I guess.
And very quietly, Jonathan has put himself up into P6. I think he can take those mediums to the end with only 10 laps to go when we cross the line. Then he has to take them 13 laps. I think that should be possible. So right now he's looking to get a really good position as well.
Yeah, right now he should be going quite a lot quicker than the hard runners ahead of him. So yeah, I think he could be moving himself up to P5 if Bugatti pits at some point. I think Bugatti might try and stretch us to the softs. He'll come out maybe around, looking at it, he'll still come out around P10. Am I right? I'm not good at maths, but he'll come out somewhere around there. Except Praga, he's lost quite a bit of time, I've just realised. It's now down to 3.4
massively
seconds.
pulling away from Lico. So is this maybe Bugatti's in-lap now? Might that be his in-lap?
Maybe?
It would
He's
make
actually
sense.
flying.
Because usually you would pit.
Oh.
QPR Beast has retired from the session.
Is this going to be a safety car?
Sure
If it does, this is going to help Bugatti.
Bugatti's staying out. But he has gained a lot of time. And Tipson is already pretending he will go for a move down the inside in the background. Further down the field for P11, we had Nano Bacon goes going past Joe. And he moves himself up into P11, but he's still just outside the points.
Yeah, so we still got that fight going on, except Bugatti looks like he's going really, really quickly. So if he takes those tyres to the end, he's going to be in a really good position. But will he pit, will he not? We're going to have to wait and see. Look at Block's just gone to AI.
Yeah.
What is that? Tipson. He's going to try and go for a move around the outside. Maybe Little Blocks. He's just lost a lot of time from going into AI.
And Tipson has felt that dirty air and felt that in terms of grip. But look at the amount of ERS Tipson has got. He has got 50%, which is actually quite a lot. But so does Lico. So they're pretty equally good on in terms of ERS saving and ERS management. But the gap between Lico and Praga stayed the same. But Bugatti is on a mission right now, and he's on his way to catch Praga at the moment.
Yeah, just look at the speed of him. He's taking about a second and a bit out of him every lap, despite his tyres being about 7 laps older. He's absolutely flying right now. Made a huge gap to Lickle behind him. So yeah, Bugatti is on. If he stays out, if he can, he's in a really good shot of winning this race. But it all depends on if his tyres can hold out. Lickle blocks in AI again.
I'm not sure what's going on.
What is happening? Well, here comes Tipson.
And he will get past. Yeah, easy move for the Racing Point with that Mercedes engine. And he gets past him and is now on the podium.
Yeah, well done to Tipson. He's been slowly working his way through, except Littlebox, he's going to want to fight back. Here he comes, up the inside, coming into turn 3. He's going on the inside. Tipson, can he do anything to try and hold on to that? He tries it. Littlebox breaks late. Oh, contact! No! Lickle's going to go round! He's off in the wall. Contact between. Oh, he's reversed on track. I thought, oh, if he didn't ghost then, that could have ended really badly for Jonathan. Jonathan moves up to P5. I think Tipson just broke late.
I think Tipson was really confused by that lap car, to be fair. It was really difficult to see the braking point for him, as that lap car was just sitting right inside of them. It sounds weird, but that's just how the F1 game works. And I don't know why he just didn't, get out of the way to not distract anyone from racing.
Was it JP Greenwood?
I'm not sure. It might actually have been.
Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't move out the way.
Oh yes, it was. It was. You're right.
So I was about to make a point about ghosting, because if that was a real person, then they would have had to have moved out the way instead of just sitting in the middle of the track. 'Cause I know people do that, but because it's JP Greenwood, he was an AI, if he wasn't ghosted, it could have caused many, many more issues, but he just didn't really move out of the way and made an obstruction. I really hate it when being inside of a ghost car, because I can't see the racing line, I can't see my braking point, and that's the worst thing about it. But Skeven is all over the back of Willow-Wolves. He's going to try and make the move now, I imagine, for only 2 points.
A lot fresher tyres. No, it's 4 points. Remember, double point system.
Oh yeah, sorry, double points. I forget.
So Skeven looked like a fairly easy move for him. As they're going side by side into turn 1, question mark. No, they don't. Well, the Wolves doesn't break that late. Accepts his faith and lets him go through. Lico is under a lot of pressure from Marlham now as well. So it's gone from bad to worse now for Lico, who has more or less been taken out by Tipson. So very unfortunate for him. And I think Tipson might lose his podium because of a post-race penalty. But look at Jonathan. He's only 4 tenths behind Cayman.
Yeah, maybe he's looking at a podium. He's really got good pace on those mediums compared to Haas ahead of him. So, if he can clear Cayman and catch 2.5 seconds to Tipson...
has gone past liquor blocks.
So
and Nicholas hit the wall!
In the wall! It's a huge crash in the castle section. His car just started spazzing out there. Started having some sort of seizure. Virtual safety car is out. Jonathan, look how close he was, just 2 tenths away from Cayman there.
And he retires.
Liquor blocks retires. Retires on track.
Oh, and he gets hit. He gets hit by Nano Bacon.
Oh no!
Oh, and Nano's got from wing damage. Oh, this game is so bad. Nano Bacon would have been inside the points now, but now he's only got a plank hanging from his front wing. Joe is right behind him with a full front wing, and he's going to lose that spot. He would have gained. Bugatti takes...
migrating host as well after that.
Yeah, that's Lico, I think. And Bugatti takes the opportunity to pit, which could put him in a very, very good position for these final 7 laps of this race.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of work to try and get through. Oh, Tipson's just got 5-second time penalties for ignoring yellow flags. Same with Jonathan. I've just seen a couple of people get 5-second time penalties.
Oh, I think that... Wait, what?
I don't know why they got that. I have absolutely no idea.
Me neither. Nano Bacon still pits now though. Oh, so frustrating for him. Imagine nearly being inside the points and then someone in front of you crashes out. You get inside the points, and then that that car that should be ghosting, the car that caused the VSC and is in AI mode, blocks you and basically takes you out of the point playing positions again.
Yeah, I don't think Lico even crash knocked his wheel off. He just spun. That's what caused the safety car when he just got blown up into the castle section. But because he pressed the retire button on track instead of waiting just until the pit lane and doing it there, I think that's really cost Nano Bacon. So I'm not okay with people just retiring on track. I think you should wait until the pit lane. So that's really hurt his chances. But Jonathan, he's all over the back of Cayman. The 2 weakest engines on the grid, but I still think Jonathan's going to be able to breeze past. Yep, there he goes. See you later.
Even with front wing damage, he gets the move done. And in the meantime, also Bugatti is right behind Sam. That Renault engine behind his back is making it more difficult for him. He gets a great run out of turn 1, dives it down the inside of turn 2. Sam backs out, and Bugatti is up into P5. And it's now only 3 seconds behind Cayman, so that podium is definitely still possible, especially when you consider that he's got fresh softs and the drivers in front have got worn mediums and hards.
And also, if we remember, Jonathan and Tipson have time penalties, so right now, as the yellow flag sector 1, that looks like Tack.
Yeah, Tack.
Yeah, he's not having a fun race. Sad times for him, but let's remember that the Tipson and Jonathan in front of him both have time penalties. So, Bugatti right now, as it stands, I don't think he has any penalties. So as it stands right now, he is on the podium. So just looks like Praga, he's got 9 seconds out in front, so it looks like his for the taking, but what's going to happen with the rest of the podium, we're going to have to wait and see. But Bugatti is flying, look at him, already on the back of his Renault teammate Cayman. And after that, who knows, he's going to be right up the gearbox of Jonathan and Tipson.
Yeah, Jonathan is really close to Tipson as well, I just wanted to mention. And also, I just want to point out that Greenwood's AI has just pitted onto 8 lap old softs.
Oh god. I thought that was just, I thought that's how long he'd been on the softs and he was pitting off of those softs. So thank you, Codemasters, very cool. But here comes Jonathan. He's going to go round the outside of Tipson into turn 1. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be his position to take. Tipson tries to stake it up the inside, except it just wasn't really worth it. He's going to have DRS off this second DRS straight. He's all over the back. It all depends on the exit. Jonathan gets a better exit than him as Tipson knocks into the wall just a little bit. Bugatti has got past Cayman though, which means he's only 1.3 seconds behind these two, which he's going to catch very quickly in the next couple of laps. He's going to be all over the back of them. Oh, Tipson breaks late. Almost had a carbon copy of what happened with him and Nickel, which would have been tragic for Jonathan.
Yeah, this is a thrilling fight for the podium paid positions. Up front, Prague is just enjoying his time with an 8.6 second gap. But Bugatti, let's be real, Bugatti is going to take P2. And if Prague is not careful and makes like a major mistake or something, we could actually see Bugatti winning this race. Hang on, is he really going to go for that move? What a brilliant move.
I admire that man. What a move that was. Just the bravery to go around the outside just before the castle section. Imagine if Tipson tried to hold on, that could have ended in tears, disaster.
Yeah, well, I think he thought, you know what, I've got great traction as Tipson hits the wall and loses more front wing. That opens up another door for Cayman as nearly Sam puts it into the wall in the background. But Cayman has also got a lot of front wing damage, but Tipson has got even more. Bugatti is a front wing, a lot fresher and quicker tyres, and now around a bit more than an 8-second gap to Praga. Will he actually be able to overtake him? He is catching massively.
Yeah, I think that's also, again, second lap coming down all the time. Blah. Late braking really threw it into that corner. He is flying on those softs. Look at him go. Oh, behind Jonathan. He's got so much confidence in the car. You could see it. Going for that move. He was like, yeah, I'm having that. He goes for it. He tries to go down the inside. Jonathan blocks it off. Tries to go around the outside. He's going to go for it. Jonathan, is he going to leave him enough for him? No, just about keeps it on the track. He's going to go up the inside of Jonathan. Jonathan has to back out of that one. He's going to try and fight back. Jonathan, he has a slightly better exit, except Bugatti on the softs. Looks like he's just going to be a hold on to that P2. Now, if just the case, can he catch 8 seconds to Praga in front of him? We're going to have to wait and see. Only just making that move. Jonathan didn't give him much room, but just enough.
This really reminds me of Daniel Ricciardo in 2016 and in Singapore when he made that extra pit stop and caught about 20 seconds within an amount of like 10 to 20 laps, I think, somewhere around there. We've got Williams into the wall. That is CC Brain. He wasn't inside the points anyway, but I remember Daniel Ricciardo caught it around 20 seconds to Rosberg just because of his tyre advantage and the raw pace he had and the aggression he attended those final few laps in, and he nearly caught Rosberg in the end. Will we see something similar today? When we cross the line, it's 3 laps to go, and it's 3 laps of hardcore push racing from Bugatti. That was not a proper sentence, but I don't really care.
Look at how quick the gap is coming down though. You can see him getting hurt a little bit on the straight, but he is flying through the corners. Just look at the gap come down. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, maybe he can close up a little bit to Praga ahead of him. I'm just going to check the penalties between them now. Praga, no warnings. He's kept it clean all race, except there his... I just realised Bugatti had a drive through at the start of the race.
Oh yeah,
he jumped the start,
and now he's up to P2. That's even more impressive.
Unbelievable. I didn't even realise that. We had a couple of jump starts at the start, but... well, that's when you jump start. But he's really been going quickly. Hats off to Bugatti. That's fantastic.
That's really amazing. Even if he gets P2 and doesn't catch Praga anymore, That is such a great achievement after jumping the start and having to serve a drive-through penalty without any safety car, being up in
Absolutely.
P2.
I completely forgot about that.
He's
What
so
a
on the limit.
drive.
He is so on the limit. Look at what he's doing out there on track. If I would push the car like that, I'd end up in the wall after 2 corners.
So would I. I mean, I wouldn't even make it a corner. I wouldn't have the bravery to do that. Look at him go. He's flying. Oh, soft tyres are doing wonders for him. Only 5.2 seconds away. I don't think he's catching enough.
Yeah,
but he's catching.
Another exciting thing we've got on track right now is Skeven. He's right behind Malham on a fresh set of mediums, so he will be looking to catch him.
No, he's not.
Commentator's
He's not
curse.
catching Malham anymore.
And he smacks off his own front wing.
Skeven.
That's going to put him outside the points completely. He would have probably stayed inside the points if he would have just done a normal flick spin, but then he hit the wall. It got even more front wing damage, and now it's basically game over for him. And Cayman has lost so much of his front wing that Sam is right behind him.
I didn't realise I was too caught up with all the other people on this track, but yeah, Skeven's title hopes are starting to slip away from him after that mistake. I believe it was a mistake from what I saw, but Cayman's still really close to Tipson ahead of him. EVR Sam T's going to want to get past these two quite quickly. Bugatti has to catch 2 seconds a lap from now, and he's going to want to start doing it quickly. He hasn't got much longer to go coming into the castle section. He's going to want to do it very soon, but EVR Sam T is all over the back of Cayman, who Cayman is still very close to Tipson, so he's going to want to clear these two, and maybe if he can get within 5 seconds of Jonathan, he can get a podium.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult with Jonathan though, as it's already 6 seconds to Tipson, and then again 6 tenths to Cayman and 6 tenths to Sam, and that's not going to make it easy. So I don't think P3 is really up for grabs for him, but P4 is definitely within his grasp at the moment, as Bugatti, if he actually catches up 2.9 seconds now, 2.8 I'm sorry, within one lap, that will be the most incredible thing I've ever seen. But I'm pretty sure Praga will finish this off very controlled. I mean, he dominated always long, but there goes Sam on the straight. He gets past Cayman as they start the final lap. Cayman tries to hold it down the inside, side by side. Not much room given from Cayman, and Sam has to back out there in order to not hit the wall. That was really close, a bit hard, a bit on the limit by Cayman. It's now really close to Tipson as well, and the problem for Sam is that Cayman has got slipstream and DRS in Tipson.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to that final straight, I think, with Tipson just going to get mullered on the straight if they can stay as close as they are now. Cayman and Sam are both probably just going to breeze past him. Oh, Sam is getting close to the back of Cayman. He's getting wiggly as well.
Yeah, he's very much on the limit, and Bugatti's given up on first place. But still, what a drive. P2 after
fantastic
a drive-through penalty on lap 1.
He was at the back
two-stop as well. Incredible.
Fantastic. All the words of compliments.
You can just keep shouting superlatives.
Oh no!
Camera ties, he was outside the points now, so that doesn't really matter. Sam ties it. Oh, that's
what are you doing?
That's an open lobby move.
Really is. I wasn't paying much attention. I just saw him launch it, just in a corner I would never launch it in, because that's just a place you cannot go side by side.
I'm sorry that I didn't catch Praga crossing the line, but he wins the race in style very easily in front of Bugatti, who did come close. Jonathan takes third. It's going to be Tipson in fourth. Cayman will stay in front of Sam after that clumsy move on the last lap, and Sam then finishes in P6 in front of Malham, who gets 7th, only 2 tenths behind Cayman with that 5-second time penalty. Where the Wolves, after starting P2, he finishes P P8 in the end. Was leading at some point in the race. Didn't go that well towards the end. Joel takes P9 in the same car. Greeny will take the final points paying positions, which will gain him 2 points. And CC Brain just outside the points.
Well, I think that was just a ridiculous move from Sam, if I'm honest. I think if he just waited, all he had to do was wait for the straight. He has the better engine, he still has the slipstream and DRS. He could have got P4 because look, he's only 1.5 seconds behind after the penalties, so if he just waited those couple of corners, he would have been P4. But no, he decided to just launch it down the inside, open lobby move like he said, and lost him P4.
Yeah, but here we have our podium finishes, and Praga, a dominant drive from him, really, really good all in all, a well-deserved win, just under 2 seconds in front of Bugatti, who's made a great comeback, and Jonathan MP3 takes another podium for the second time in a row now, and yeah, I think that is in general a very happy podium for you right there.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic drive from Bugatti, fantastic drive from Praga, and Jonathan, he kind of came out of nowhere in this race. He was a dark horse, just P20 as well, I just realised. Look at that.
Amazing job by him as well, but clearly for me, driver of the day is Bugatti. He even came close to winning this race, but he didn't, but he still did a 2-stop, served a drive-through penalty, and got P2 without a full safety car. He had a VSC helping him for his second pit stop, but still, that was amazing.
I mean, fastest lap by 2 seconds as well. Look at that, that is a really good performance from him. Jump start, drive through, didn't bother him, did the 2-stop, and then it came out on top to get that P2 from 16th position, which is just brilliant from him. I really respect
didn't
that.
get fastest lap.
Did he not? Oh.
No, it was New Zealand Cam who did a 40.8. That is a great lap.
Oh, that's a good lap. A
He
10th
retired,
quicker
though.
than Bugatti. Sorry, I didn't see that. He did retire, yeah. So he won't get the point for that, will he? So
it wasn't quite the Baku race we expected, I'd say. I expected a lot more carnage, to be honest.
Same here, I was expecting a safety car. We only had, was it 3 retirements?
In the end we had quite a few, but before that we had, I think, 3. I think on the last lap some people retired on purpose, and it would be very nice if you could suggest our podium finishes.
Absolutely.
And yeah, but I'd still say it was a really good race. It was very exciting, especially up front in the fight for the podium. It wasn't really exciting for Praga, who just dominated all race long. And yeah, he will take well-deserved 32 points, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good drive from him. I really respect it, so.
I need to talk a bit more right now because viewers can't hear you as I'm trying to accept the people you have suggested. Is there... Who else is missing? Who did you suggest now? Good, as we are waiting for the drivers to come into our lobby, into our party, I'm sorry, to talk us through their races, tell us a little bit about it. And we've already got our winner in the party, which is good to see.
I do need to, Felix.
That is rude. But hopefully you have got your microphone on shared.
It's always on share.
That is good. That is really good indeed. Have you suggested Jonathan so far?
One sec.
Okay, so we'll just wait until I am able to invite Jonathan then. And then we're good to go.
Taking forever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's not really your fault, is it? So, problem is he's not in the lobby anymore. And I don't think I've got him on my friends list. Yes, that would be nice, Lewis.
There you go.
Thank you very much. And then I think we can already get started with the questions. So, starting with you, Lewis. Obviously, a great race from you. First of all, congratulations on your win. And it seemed pretty boring for you all race long. I mean, we didn't have a full safety car, and it seemed like you dominated just all the way through. Didn't you lose concentration at some point, or how did you manage to just keep the concentration up, especially at a track like Baku?
Yeah, it was lap 1 that won me the race really. So I said 4th, got to the lead, then just managed to get a gap, and after that I just controlled my pace, trying not to bottle it. Then yeah, I saw Alfie on the soft at the end, which did scare me a bit, but I knew the gap was a bit too big at the end, so it was quite a boring race. But...
I can imagine that, but I can also imagine that you are very happy to take those 32 points with you now from this feature race. And do you think that could put you right up there in the championship fight for the rest of the season?
I hope so, but honestly, I'm not really thinking about the championship. I'm just taking it race by race now. Next week, I'm most likely going to be in the Williams, so that's not going to be fun. But I'll see what I can do then.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But speaking about next week, we are in Canada, and you already said that you will probably be in the Williams. And yes, so what are your expectations? Is it just a case of damage limitation next week, or will you try to still get very good points?
Just points. I'll be happy with any points really in the Williams. Just try and avoid pens because Canada is quite an easy track to pick up pens. So
that is definitely true indeed. So yeah, congratulations on your very dominant win today, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
So Jack, do you want to take our legendary drive of the day?
Of course. I just need to make sure I haven't got my mute, so I'm not sure. Okay, good. Bugatti or Alpha, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, you had a crazy race. I mean, starting down in P16, jump start at the beginning, and then somehow works your way up to P2. Absolutely fantastic drive. We were in awe in the party, commentating over that. But when you got the jump start, did you think that you could still maybe have a chance of podium, almost winning the race?
Well, a drive is not too bad, obviously, at Baku, because you kind of expect safety car, obviously that never happened, but you actually make it sound a lot more simple than it was, because the first time, me and Greeny both had a drive-through, and as we were pulling into the pits, a VSC come out, so it changed our drive-throughs into pit stops. So we have to do a pit stop, and then the next lap we have to do a drive-through, so really it cost us double, so we were half a lap behind, and then at that point you think, no, it's over, but somehow, I don't really know how, I just kind of ended up at the front, and my tyres weren't going to make it to the end, so I had to pit for softs and try and get Prago, which I knew was pretty unlikely, but it's definitely one of the better races of my career.
I didn't even realise that you had to pit and then do the drive-through. I had no idea, so that just makes your race even better than I thought before. That amazes me, that's really well done. But that's ridiculous, but in the final few laps, it looked like that you might, maybe catch Praga. Did you ever think you could? Was there any doubts?
Well, I knew the softs around here are very, you have to use their grip instantly because they're not going to last very long. But I had to pit on lap 19. If I could have gone longer, I maybe would have gone longer because my pace, I was faster than Praga anyway on the hards, but they're on like 75%. I didn't want to get a puncture, especially coming through turn 1 or something and having to limp the 4 miles back or whatever it is. But no, once I pit for softs, it was kind of over, but the VSC did help. But no, it was never really going to happen. Just try and hope Prague maybe crashed again.
That's fair enough, or really well done from you for this race. But looking on to next week, I'm not sure what car you're in.
Canada.
I think it's
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Canada. Sorry,
Thought
I know
you
it's Canada,
you were gonna say track, so
yeah, it's okay. But I think you're maybe in the Toro Rosso or something like that. I have no idea. But looking at Canada, how do you think you'll do? Is your pace good? Penalties, is that a thing for you?
Well, I won there in F2 and FP, but my pace isn't good at Canada, obviously being on the pad. It's not a very good, I don't like to bring up the pad wheel debate, but Canada is a very good wheel circuit, so I expect to Lickle, Greeny, CC, I don't know if they're all on wheel, I think they all are, but I expect to see them up there. No, Greeny's on pad, but CC and Lickle, I expect to see them up there. But if it's a Toro, it's definitely going to be just damage limitation, try and get any points possible and no penalties. I'm pretty good at no penalties, so I reckon that might be my saving grace.
Fair enough, very well done to you. Good luck for next week. But Felix, I'll hand it back to you for Jonathan, our final podium sitter.
yes, of course. Jonathan, yet again you're here for podium interviews, and didn't really look like you were going to sit here after the qualifying race. You started P20, and then for us, kind of out of nowhere, we didn't really see you on track all too often, and then suddenly you were right up there. Just tell us how you came up the field.
Yeah, the qualifying race ended pretty fast because I got taken out after turn 1. So I had to work up the field in the actual race. Yeah, I started on the hards, kept nose clean at the beginning. Yeah, then moved up to P10 or something like that pretty fast because many people had to pit for new front wings. Yeah, then I pitted on the mediums. Sadly, little reversed back on track, so I had orange wing damage, which cost me like 1 second a lap. Then on the virtual safety car, as Bugatti pitted, I got a illegal overtake, and yeah, the 5-second time penalty at the end for no reason because he was in the pit. Yeah, but still P3. I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you are like driver of the day for us if it wasn't for Alfie in P2, but taking your second podium in a row now in terms of feature races, it should put you in the lead of the Drivers' Championship, if I'm not completely mistaken. Might also be Praga, who had a very strong weekend today. But yeah, with being right up there, how do you feel about the rest of the season? Do you think you can, keep that streak of great results up and go for the championship?
Yeah, I don't know what tracks are after Canada, but especially Canada is one of my best tracks, and next week the PSGL esports event is also in Canada, so I have quite some practice for this track. But if I get the Williams, so should be decent points, maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
for the rest of
sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, for the rest of the season, I just hope to get the Toro Rosso as often as possible, so I don't have to drive to Williams.
Yeah, it is going to be very difficult for you to keep the Toro Rosso. If you keep performing like that, then you're probably going to stay in the Williams for quite a long time. But if you actually have to stay in the Williams, how for the next few races, how do you feel in general? Will you maybe think about a tactical game to be in the Toro Rosso at some races, to maybe not get the best result before in the Williams, and then get the Toro Rosso for next race, or are you just going flat out every race?
It depends on the results of the other people. If it's a head-and-head fight with Praga, it doesn't really make sense to do a tactical decision and just score 0 points in a race, for example, if I still have the Williams then. But if someone like anyone else on the grid is in the championship fight with Prague and me, and would take the Williams instead of me if I don't score points, that's maybe the better choice. So I can score some points with the Toro Rosso in the following race.
All right, then congratulations on your podium and your great drive today, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And with also the podium interviews done, I think we've witnessed quite a good second race. I mean, we didn't see the carnage we expected, but I'd still call it a good race in the end. What do you think, Jack?
I mean, I'm very happy it wasn't that much carnage, because we were treated to a fantastic race and fantastic drives from many drivers. They still threw up some chaos which we expected. I'm looking forward to next week as well, as these last 2 races have not disappointed, so I'm looking forward to next week commentating with you again. I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I, and we are going to be here next week at the same time. It's going to be Tuesday 9 PM UK time, starting off with a qualifying race and the feature race right after that, so make sure to tune in, and until then, goodbye and take care.